Alright, so back for round one. This is a keep, I think. I've got, I wish I had green mana, but I've got two of my better creatures, and I've got some early drops. I'm just missing green mana, basically. Opponent played at plains, so it's all white. Could be Metalcraft, could be poison, could be anything, really. Um, First play, I think, is just going to be the Vector Asp. Drawing this forest is nice as it gives us the option to turn on Infect and still play a creature. And then the turn after that, we can turn on Infect again and play Fencer Might. That all depends on whether our opponent plays blockers. Alright, so we've got the kind of got the curve here. I think next turn I probably just play Rats over playing Fencer Might and Activate, but we'll see what our opponent plays. Alright. So if I lose this and make this guy a 1/1, I still don't feel that great about that. So I think I just play the Rats, and then I'll be able to attack next turn. It's looking like our opponent has the Metalcraft plan between Mirror Galvanizer and an Infiltration Lens, which is an okay artifact, but it's really just something you play if you need cheap artifacts. So I want to swing with the Rats just because it trades with either of these, and with me having some backup poison creatures that are bigger, I wouldn't mind terribly if you wanted to trade off there. See if our opponent might have an arrest or something that could be problems with this. If he doesn't have an answer for this, is a card that kind of demands an answer. Oh. I don't really want to let my opponent draw two cards here. It's tempting to kill this, but A, he could have a combat trick, could be the reason he's attacking, and regardless, he would draw two cards. I don't know, I guess you equip there just because you gotta do something. Alright, that's a pretty solid draw actually, because it makes all of our guys dangerous. Also, just attacking for lethal here So our opponent is probably going to lose some creatures he doesn't want to lose. Okay, he destroys the Copper Carapace, that's fine. Tricky block for him here because you can't double block the Vat Mother anyway, like that's not profitable. He trades with this, but if he only blocks this, then he's lethal, so he has to trade. Kind of an odd choice, I guess, to trade the Galvanizer, but I guess he needs the black mana. He might have a trick. No tricks. Opponent is at 9 poison counters, which means any if we draw another Rats, or we get the -1/-1 that gives a poison counter. Alright, that's fine. If we draw a land, we get to put two poison creatures on the board. It's pretty. Phyrexian Rebirth is a pretty nice card. But we have plenty of outs. Definitely just going to cast this because it uses the most mana. That's pretty good. So our opponent is getting the blockers. We do still have some outs. Like, this one will do just fine. I was really thinking either Bladed Pinions or the Rats. This is a good example where even if this didn't have flying, it takes away his blocks because this guy becomes a 1/1 and this guy would become a 1/3. So Bladed Pinions get the job done. So against our opponent, is there any chance that we get that Phyrexian Rebirth out of his hand with Psychic Miasma? Not a high chance. Would I have rather had, towards the end of that game, would I have rather top decked Lead the Stampede, which gives me a chance of getting two Rats, or top decked Psychic Miasma, which probably just ends up with him discarding some useless card in his hand. Definitely Lead the Stampede, so I think we stick with the Lead the Stampede plan. And that's really the only choice we have. Ruthless Invasion, he has a lot of artifact creatures, so that's not going to do anything for us. That's a potential sideboard option against someone who's not playing many artifact creatures. Just to get kind of the free win once we have a few. Ooh. This is a questionable hand. Copper Carapace, I think, is one of our stronger cards. Lead the Stampede has a better chance of getting us creatures now because it has basically one in every two something. Like this is a lot more likely to hit two creatures now. So I think I'm going to keep this, even though it's a little ugly and very slow. I'd like to draw a 2-drop, and then I'll be feeling okay. Off the Tyrannax is not a 2-drop. I'm gonna cast this now, because if he's gonna kill it, he's gonna kill it. And stopping on our upkeep for some reason. Statistically, I think this should, it should definitely hit one creature. It will be a strange fluke if it didn't get us a creature. Should hit 2, and it actually has a chance of doing better since we have drawn so few creatures. But we'll see how much pressure our opponent can put us under before then. Alright, so our opponent plays Leonin Skyhunter. We are going to be under some pressure in this game. I'm not going to go like the last game, unfortunately. We don't have any early pressure ourselves, and we're going to be at maybe like 14 life before we really do anything meaningful. Huh. I think I still need to cast Lead the Stampede here. This would be nice to have to trade with the Skyhunter, but I think it's got to be Lead the Stampede. If we whiff on this, then this game is probably over. Meridian Betrayers is not the card I wanted to see. I actually would have liked to get Mutagenic Growth, but the good thing is we don't draw these 3 lands, which would have been trouble. Misclick there. It rarely comes into play, but I misclicked there. I should have put the Mutagenic Growth on the bottom first, so that if we get down to 4 cards in our library, at least we get a Mutagenic Growth. And unfortunately, because of the way I played my lands, I won't be able to play Meridian Betrayers and Azuri's Archer. Didn't really have the information to make that decision at the time, though. I don't think it was a bad play, it just didn't work out based on our draw. So, very unfortunate that I can only play one of these. I can try to block the Peace Strider. And this guy still just trades with the Skyhunter. And I don't have any combat tricks. The Betrayers are definitely better in the long run. But right now we're just worried about surviving the first couple of turns. So I'm going to play the Betrayers, try to trade with the Peace Strider, and save the maximum amount of life. At this point I'm not really sure how we're going to grind this game out. Falling behind in the race, it's going to be hard to put our opponent on a reasonable clock when he has the Skyhunter already. The flip side too, I'm planning to block this at some point anyway. So Tyrannax at least has a chance of surviving So we leave ourselves open to a combat trick here, but it's really the only play that we have. And that wasn't the worst thing for us. And that's not terrible either. I'd really like to get a combat trick so that I can get 2 blocks out of this. But we know mutagenic growth is already at the bottom of our library, which leaves, I think, just that one other, I can't remember what it's called, but there's one other +2/+2 trick in our deck. The other one just gives +1 and infect. That doesn't do anything for our to help this guy live. Our opponent has this stop on our upkeep that I think he always forgets about. Alright, at least we got to play 2 things this turn. And this Vat Mother could actually put him under some real pressure. Especially when we can eventually put the Carapace on it if we so choose. But we'll play the Tyrannax before we get too aggressive with the Infect plan. This is a pretty good draw too. I think I still play the Tyrannax this turn to discourage the attack with the Bladed Sentinel. And I can use all of my mana next turn. I mean, this discourages an attack too. But being able to suit up the Carapace and play the Blight Widow next turn, I think means playing Tyrannax this turn is better. The race is about equal right now with him being at 4 poison. So he got a Gelma's Warden. He has 1 card in hand. The Warden is not a 4/6 yet. When it becomes a 4/6, we'll be a little bit nervous. We'll be attacking with a 6/7 next turn. I don't know what tricks are in here, honestly. I don't think there's any instant speed artifacts in his colors. So I'm going to try this plan. It's probably just going to get chump blocked. I don't think he has black, white, white up. I don't know the combat tricks in this. Alright, that's not the biggest deal in the world. And he still doesn't have great blocks here. So I'm going to kill the Leaden Mirror here, take away a black mana, and then I can put 3 -1/-1 counters on something else. I think I'm going to go with the Gelma's Warden. This is fine. Our opponent's not in great shape. We have a giant beastie out, and we're about to play another infect creature that can hold back his whole team, and this is an infect creature that can put some pressure on. So let's see what he draws into. Um, that's a good draw, but not as good if he doesn't have. He doesn't have any equipment for it yet. Okay. So the question now, I don't want to attack with this. That just exposes us too much to potential crackback. As if we attack with this and he can deal with the Tyrannax somehow, he swings back for 6. Just getting a little too close. So I like being able to keep this guy back that holds back the Flint Hawk. I do think I swing him with the Tyrannax. He needs to get 5 power together to block it, which means if he wants to kill it, he has to block with everything, and I don't think that's a good trade for him. So I think we start attacking his life total and assume that he's still going to have trouble attacking into Blight Widow and Contagious Nim for anything very profitable. This is something that, knowing his hand is empty, we can afford this a little more than we could otherwise. Yep, so he has no block. I mean, we're not above just attacking your life total, buddy. If our opponent draws equipment, we'll be in trouble in a hurry. Which is why I really want to start trying to put some pressure on. I'd love to have a combat trick so that when I'm attacking I have a little bit of insurance. I honestly have no idea why our opponent has this stop on our upkeep. He always forgets about it. There's not that much that you can do on the upkeep in this. So, what's more profitable? Our opponent might just have enchantment destruction anyway. So I don't know if it's better to attack with the Tyrannax and keep attacking his life total, which is basically a 3-turn clock, although he has a lot more chump blockers that way. Or if I put Bladed Pinions on Contagious Nim and attack. It's not the worst. I mean, look, what's the worst case scenario? He kills the Bladed Pinions. This guy no longer has flying or first strike, and then he blocks with one of his dudes here, all of which would then become 0-2. This guy would just die, and this guy would just die. It's kind of a tricky call here which vector we want to attack. I think attacking in the sky is going to be a little bit better because he has less options there. We know he played a Divine Offering. He might have more than one. But I like this attack just fine. Yeah, so he blocks. Still in a little bit of trouble if he gets an equipment for his Cat Cleric. Now it's looking like we're just pulling ahead. Our opponent played a Swamp, which might open up some things. This is a great card for us to draw because it gives us a little more defense. We're in less danger of a crackback. I thought about attacking with 2 creatures there, but it's kind of too easy for him to just decide to kill the Blight Widow then, and we only have two poison counters, two -1 -1 counters from that. And attacking with this, you know, we've got to have a plan. I think I need to keep the Death Head Cobra back actually, because of the threat of his Phyrexian, whatever that thing is. That might very well be his plan here. I don't think he has it yet, because I don't know why he wouldn't just cast it. But he already doesn't have an attack, or doesn't think he has an attack, so there's no reason for us to play an extra creature. I think he's just trying to draw an answer. So he hasn't done anything. He might have some kind of removal here. And that's it. Bladed Pinions got us there both times, so a card I wasn't too sure about including. But First Strike and Flying are very important with Poison. So we got past round one. I still think my deck is weak. We'll be back for round two.